Thank you, sisters and brothers, for coming out tonight to support entertainment workers and our industry. I'd much rather we all be inside the Allstate Arena enjoying a concert together, but here we are. Before we get started, I thank my local 2 sisters and brothers that set up tonight's lighting, projection, and audio. I thank Rosemont's Mayor Stevens and Allstate General Manager George Theo for allowing us use of their world-class arena. I thank Scott Falb from ILC, Troy Fujimura, Local 2 and Pixel Mosaic, John Featherstone with Light Switch, Don Jaros and Kevin Gibbons with David Michael Productions, Frank Taylor, Chris Iavino, Alki Pahiv, Chris Wren, who donated time, expertise, and gear to help make this event happen. I'm Craig Carlson, International Vice President of IATSE. We represent more than 150,000. Thank you. We represent more than 150,000 employees across North America. On an evening so close to Labor Day, as we host this event to help workers put out of work through no fault of their own, we must acknowledge and honor those that struggled before us in order to make our lives better. Our forefathers instilled in us that there is dignity in hard work, that hard work brings honor and commands respect, that hard work should be acknowledged by all and rewarded with safe working conditions, fair wages, and meaningful benefits for all, everyone, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual identity. One standard of excellence in our craft is when the audience enjoys a spectacular performance and does not know what we do or that we're even there. Sadly, that standard now hurts us. Few are aware of the millions of entertainment workers in our industry that have become virtually 100% unemployed since March due to COVID-19. Although much of America realizes entertainment workers have been economically hardest hit, not enough people believe we should receive government help. That brings us here tonight to have our voices heard. A red alert that entertainment workers have been disproportionately hurt by COVID-19. We're the first put out of work, we'll be the last back. National unemployment is roughly 10%, but millions of entertainment workers are close to 100% unemployed. People must understand that entertainment workers are middle-class workers, not celebrities, not rock stars. Many are parents raising families, and all are dedicated to our craft. Extraordinarily involved in the cultural fabric of our communities, we create innovative and engaging events for the world to enjoy, and that helps establish the entire Chicagoland area as a world-class center for theater, arts, concerts, dance, opera, festivals, TV production, and more. We need Congress to extend the CARES Act unemployment provisions, to implement an OSHA standard to reopen venues in a safe manner, preserve workers' health care with COBRA subsidies, allow all nonprofits access to Paycheck Protection Program, allow healthy multi-employer plans to free zone status and smooth investment losses, and update the qualified performing artist tax deduction. Our employers, large and small, from cultural institutions to upstarts, from corporate productions to festivals, from Broadway musicals to concerts, from episodic TV to feature film, arenas, theaters, convention centers, stadiums, music halls, and more, all partner with us to create an $877 billion economic engine that makes our industry the 3rd largest contributor to the United States GDP. our industry is at risk of not recovering as this pandemic continues. Congress must also act to provide economic support for organization in the arts, entertainment, and media industries with appropriate workforce restoration requirements and safely get people back to work, and to assist our employers, venues, and promoters, vendors, to get back on their feet too. Our workers and our industry are challenged as never before to get through this epic crisis. We need Congress to act on our behalf, so please contact your U.S. Senator, your U.S. Congressional representative, to ask that they put workers first. Contact information and talking points are available for your reference on our website at iatselocal2.com. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. We're blessed to live in a state that respects and protects workers. I appreciate our political and labor leader friends that came out tonight on our behalf. They have our back and we have theirs. We call that a little PHP, people helping people. It goes a long way. Nobody is better at PHP than my friend and Illinois AFL-CIO President Tim Dray and Illinois Secretary-Treasurer Pat Devaney. Tim and Pat, come
on. Good evening, IATSE. I got to tell you, Craig Carlson, the Illinois AFL-CIO represents 900,000 members, and we have an executive board, Pat Devaney's over here, Secretary-Treasurer. We have 36 executive board members, but the representative from IATSE stands shoulders above the rest. Craig Carlson does a great job, and I think that Craig Carlson's only one of the few people that could bring out hundreds of people at 9 o'clock on a rainy night, have the rain stop, and light up, and have stagehands light up the Allstate Arena like I've never seen it before. I can't say enough about Craig Carlson. I want to thank you for all the work that you do when you do work. I've been to shows, I've been to productions. Absolutely, everybody sees the actors and the singers and the performers, but what you do is just invaluable to make sure a show is successful. The backstage is, I've done some work with my daughter who does ballet. I help out. Actually, Sam Sagan's here. His sister works with her. I've done some backstage work. It's not easy. It's not hard. And it's a good thing I'm not a professional stagehand because you wouldn't have the reputation that you do. You make the show, and we thank you for it. But what we need, Craig said a while ago, we need Congress to act. You know what we need? We need the Senate to act. We need the United States Senate to act. We need Mitch McConnell to get up and stand up and work for working people for a change. Mitch McConnell, the HEROES Act has been on his desk since May 15th or something in that area. Had done nothing to help workers, nothing to help you with your health care, nothing to help you with your unemployment, nothing at all to help working people get through this pandemic. We'll get through it. We'll be stronger than we ever were, but we just need a little help. Not a handout, but a helping hand to get us through. I can't say enough about the importance of voting in this next election is just paramount to make sure that our voices are heard and that they're heard not only in Illinois, but all the way out in Washington, D.C. You got to vote for your pocketbook. We'll all be voting for our pocketbook. And part of that is I want to vote for my pocketbook, and I want to vote for the fair tax to take money from the millionaires out of their pocket. Very good. So I'm going to close by saying Happy Labor Day. We have a lot to be thankful for, but we got a lot to change in this country. So get out, get up, do the job, work, and make a difference. And with that, I'd like to introduce a very, very close friend the Illinois AFL-CIO, the Chicago Federation of Labor, two organizations, but you'd think they were one. The president, Bob Ryder, great friend, great labor leader. And with that, Bob, if you're ready, thank you very much.
Real quick, who here is a working person? Who here is part of the working class of Chicago? Who's here to raise their voice and tell people in Washington to stand up for us? My name's Bob Ryder. I'm president of the Chicago Federation of Labor. On behalf of myself, Secretary-Treasurer Don Villar, I want to thank all of you for standing out here with your signs, with your voices, and standing up for yourselves, for your families, and other working people in this town and all across the country. You see, the Chicago Federation of Labor, Chicago is the hometown of the American labor movement. We represent 300 unions that in turn represent 500,000 working women and men in Chicago and Cook County. And let me tell you, it's airline pilots to zookeepers, but even more importantly for the people here tonight, it's stagehands from Local 2. It's studio mechanics who work out at CineSpace and other parts of the city. It's the people who film the shows, who film the newscasts, the people who do theater wardrobe. It's the musicians in the pits at our theaters. It's the folks at the CSO. My Lord, we can go on and on. Actors Equity, SAG-AFTRA, people who when we go home after getting our asses kicked all day working, we get to sit down and have a little bit of entertainment. And for the people who come from out of town, who come to see all the great jewels of the city of Chicago, it's you guys who welcome our guests and our visitors. And we owe you a debt of gratitude because right now, 70% of the people who work in the entertainment industry have given up 100% of their income. And while some of us have been able to go back to work, for the essential workers who've been able to keep plowing through during this pandemic, you are also the ones who have sacrificed. We have our first responders who've confronted the COVID-19 right in its face. But there's those of you who've sacrificed your entire career to follow public health, to make sure that we don't have communities spread and that we don't dig ourselves deeper into a hole like Donald Trump has forced us into in Washington. So thank you to every single person who's had to sacrifice their income for themselves and their family through this pandemic. And damn it, the least that Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump could do is roll that HEROES Act through the Senate and sign the damn bill so we can protect people's health care, their unemployment, and make sure that we can carry the citizens of this great country through one of the worst public health crises we've seen in generations. You know, right now, it's not hard to ask to pass the HEROES Act, to sign things like the Restart Act, and make sure that we're taking care of folks. Healthcare, doing a healthcare subsidy for people who have health insurance, it's not that much. It's not that much that we can sacrifice, and it helps working families. It helps the working poor. It helps the middle class. It helps union workers. Hell, it helps everybody. But right now, we can't see our way through this in the Senate because what Mitch McConnell and the leadership of the Republican Party want to do is strangle those benefits and make sure they flow upwards and not down to the people who really matter. Because to them, they're up here, but what they don't understand is we're the ones who push everything up. The foundation of this industry, the foundation of this country, The foundation of everything we believe in is in the working person. Now, Tim was right. This is a very, very important election. But we need to raise hell right now. Not only do we have to deal with our election and make sure that we get the right people in on November 3rd, but we need to make sure that they start acting right now because they're holding us hostage to this election. The Republicans don't want to do things, especially to help states that have good working class people who support working class candidates. They've made this into a political game. We don't have time to wait. Whether you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, do something for Americans, damn it. Americans need Mitch McConnell and the Senate to stand up for us. And right now, I'm going to bring up a friend of ours from Congress who's already done the heavy work, who's put these bills across the hallway to the Senate. Someone who understands what it means to support working families. Someone who understands what we need for working class people in Chicago and the surrounding area. If I lived just a little bit further east, she'd be my congresswoman. So I'd like to introduce a great friend of mine, a great friend of the Chicago labor movement, a great friend for working people in the state of Illinois, Robin Kelly.
I'm going to get Bob to move. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you tonight. I don't live close, but I want you to know that I hear you, that I see you. I'm a sponsor of the HEROES Act. I'm a sponsor of the Restart Act. I've already voted for the HEROES Act. We'll vote for the Restart Act. And I just want to personally thank you for the happiness you've brought me because of your job and my family and my friends. And I see we are musicians. I walked on the line when you were on strike with the CSO. I was out there walking with you. And I will continue walking with you and do everything I can to make sure that we get this done and you get back to work. You have the health care you need. You have the pay you need. But we need you also. As Bob said, we don't want to wait till November. We need to make noise now, but we need to make noise in November. As soon as you can vote, we are begging you, me and my Democratic colleagues, to please vote. Don't wait till the last minute because you see they're trying to jack up the post office. And so we need people to vote as soon as possible, whether you're voting from home, whether you can early vote and you're walking in. We are all in this together, and we're going to get out of all of this together. So I'm honored to be with you tonight. Please hang in there. The cavalry is coming. Just have some faith. The cavalry is coming. And with that, I want to introduce my colleague from the 6th District of Illinois. He's one of our mighty freshmen that I'm so proud of. And if you live in his district, please vote. We need him to come back to Congress. My colleague, Congressman Casten.
Thank you all. Thank you, Robin. I miss you guys. You know, I mean, all those concerts, all those shows we used to go to. I got to tell you, I got to read this because this is one of my favorite things. I always tell my team that if you want to know how to be successful in this weird job that myself and Robin and all have, I tell everybody you got to read this that says, this job consists of waiting to pull something out of your hat, out of thin air, out of this world, something that before the faithful were gathered here today was just a song-fueled rumor. We are here today to provide proof of life to that ever-elusive, never completely believable us. That's from one of my favorite artists, a guy named Bruce Springsteen. But he described, I hear a couple claps there. That's what art is all about, right? It's about making us all feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. It's about making us feel like we're all part of something together. It's what the labor movement does. That we're not red and blue. We're all part of something bigger. And it pains me to see us on the sidelines now. Some of you know I played in a bar band for a long time. I haven't played in 2 years. It bums me out. And you can't do that without all you guys working back behind the scenes, doing the stage, doing the lighting, pulling all that together. I'm proud to have sponsored the Heroes Act. I'm proud to be a part of the Restart Act. As Robin said, none of that matters unless we get a Senate that's cooperative, unless we get a Senate that puts labor first, unless we get a president that puts labor first, unless we get a president and a Senate that puts science first. Because if we don't get this pandemic under control, it doesn't matter what we pass. If people don't feel safe standing out at Lollapalooza and dancing and singing at the top of their lungs, it's not going to matter. And these things shouldn't be controversial. You look around the world, there's a lot of countries that have figured out how to get this under control even without a vaccine. All we need is leadership. We got a lot of great leaders here tonight. I see a lot of good leaders sitting out there in the audience, using your own voices. You got to vote. We got to go get this done because I know the American people are good. I know you people are good. There's just a small minority who have a lot of power. But we're going to fix that in November. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for staying strong. And here's to pulling a magic trick out of our hat in a couple weeks. Thank you. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce my good friend, Congressman Brad Schneider from the 10th District.
Good evening. I put on my glasses to see you, but these lights are so bright I can't see anything anyway. But I know you're out there, and we all know you're out there. I'm thinking of what my colleagues have said, what others have said. I'm thinking about the situation we're in. And I was reflecting on some of the events that we aren't having. We're not having the concerts, we're not having the stage shows, the theater, etc. But I started to think about the marathon, because we're in the midst of a marathon. We just started now. September is the 7th month we've been fighting this virus. And here's what I know. On a marathon, the elite runners will cross the line in a couple of hours. The elite amateurs in 3, maybe 4. But the stories I like about the marathons are when that last runner, the one with the game leg or the one pushing a friend along, comes by many hours later. And the people who are left cheering those last ones to cross the line. To me, those are the people who are the reflection of who we are as a nation. Yes, we cheer the winners, but we also cheer those who have the perseverance to carry on. We're in that moment right now. People are really struggling. 6 million Americans have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 200,000 Americans have lost their lives. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs. 27 million still out of work. I don't need to tell you what the suffering is. But what I know is that this country, the good people in this country, everyone out here wants to get through this together. That's why I was proud to support the HEROES Act. As Tim Dray said, May 15th that passed the House, 106 days ago. There's no reason we have not passed that except for Mitch McConnell in the Senate. The HEROES Act would provide assistance for families, rental assistance, healthcare assistance, assistance to our teachers, our healthcare workers, to our state and local governments. But Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump have no interest in pushing that forward. They'd rather hold people back down. I was proud to support the Restart Act that will give assistance to the businesses and companies and people who just want to get back to providing entertainment, to providing a little support, to providing a good quality job. We want to get people back to work. I'm proud to support the pandemic unemployment assistance, that extra $600 that for the first few months of this pandemic lift people up. There's only one reason that expired on July 31st, because Mitch McConnell refused to meet with the Democrats in the House and extend that through the end of the year. Every one of us are running a marathon. Every one of us are looking to get across the finish line, to beat back this virus, to restore our communities, to bring our nation back to what we know it all can be. We're all saying we can get through this, but only if we get through this together. And when we get through this together, we will be a stronger nation for it. But we will only do it if we stand together. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being those people who cheer those at the end of the marathons and making sure that no one gets left behind. This is the greatest country in the world because of the people who make up this country, and I'm looking at them right now. You are why we make a difference. You are why we will succeed here, but only if we change what's happening in Washington. Let's pass the HEROES Act. Let's pass the Restart Act. Let's pass assistance for unemployed Americans. Let's get it done. It's now my honor to introduce the mayor of Rosemont, the best named mayor I can think of, Brad Stevens. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. How are you? How are you all doing? How about giving yourselves a round of applause for coming out here tonight and being here? I want to thank you all for asking me to be here and address the group tonight. As a longtime member of Stagechan's Local 2 and what is today Carpenter's Local 58, I'm very, very understanding of what you guys do every day when you're allowed to go to work. There's no question that the entertainment and events industry has suffered mightily since COVID came into our lives. Thousands upon thousands of events have been canceled across Illinois and the nation, and you have all paid the biggest price. All shows disappeared, and so did your wages. The price you have paid as the entertainment industry has collapsed has been enormous. That's not right, and Washington needs to do something about it. And no community has suffered like ours, aside from the city of Chicago here in Illinois, and that's the village of Rosemont. That's why I'm here today and proud to stand with you to strongly call upon Congress to work with the administration to get that Restart Act passed and into action so we can begin the process of opening up our event and entertainment venues and get all of you back to work. At the same time, we need Congress and the President to pass meaningful help for unemployment assistance. The price you've all paid since this pandemic began is excessive, and Washington needs to recognize that and provide the much-needed help. As mayor of Rosemont and state representative for the 20th District, you can rest assured that I will do everything in my power to press our federal leaders to pass this vital assistance for all of you in the events, entertainment, and hospitality industry. And I urge you to do the same by calling on our congressmen and our senators. The ones that are here tonight are courageous enough to be here with you, and tell them we need to pass the Restart Act. The jobs you do and the contributions you make to our total economy are enormous, and it's the least Washington can do to pay you back. Thank you again, and it's my pleasure to introduce Congressman-elect Marie Newman. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, but I sure do wish you didn't have to be here. It is ridiculous that we all have to be going through this when we could get this remedied if we could get our Republican senators to move on things. And it's very frustrating. I was talking to Congresswoman Kelly back here, and I said, it is incredibly frustrating to see all of these incredibly talented, skilled, creative, and hardworking folks out here time after time when we all come to these events. I'll tell you, I started as the assistant to the assistant producer. I started out in an advertising business. And I had the great honor of working with lots of production folks, everyone from grips to shooters to stagehands and on, for many years. And I worked side by side with them for 14-hour days, but frequently 19-hour days when we were on a schedule. So I really deeply understand what you all go through, and I have got to believe that you miss all that great creative and skilled work, right? So absolutely, give yourself a hand. So my job as Democratic nominee, hopefully to be the next congressperson for Illinois 3, is to push everyone and be the loud one. I have a little bit of privilege right now. I can be extra loud and extra tough, right? So I am doing that. I am pushing not just our Democratic senators and congresspeople, but I'm actually reaching out to Republicans and saying, look, this is an American issue. I think Bob Ryder said it beautifully. Let's help all Americans get back to work. And the way we do that is solve the pandemic and make sure first that we get all of these Relief Act passed, whether it is the Restart Act that will bring back PPP and SBA loans and all of the unemployment assistance that you need, or any of the other acts that will give relief to all of us. We desperately need that done, and I will be very loud and proud. And what I can guarantee you is two things, is that I will always speak up, even when it's hard to speak up, and I will be more than a vote, I will be a voice. Finally, I do have homework for everybody, as I always do. Please get your census forms done as soon as possible. Encourage 10 friends to get your census forms done. If you're not registered, get registered. And finally, vote, and vote early, but not often. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Please get some rest. I'm thinking of all of you, and I'm with all of you. God bless.
I want to thank Local 769, Tom Pusateri, Local 476, Mark Hogan, Local 110, Steve Altman, Local 750, Dan Garnett, and all of your members for coming out. You guys are absolutely the best. We have the best men and women in the world in the labor movement, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you do every day to make our industry as vital and as vibrant as you have. And we will get back. We will get back together. And before we end tonight, I want to introduce a friend of mine. I have been on the road with him. I've done shows all over the world. He's renowned, and he's a tremendous lighting designer, John Featherstone. He made a big impact tonight with his expertise, and he has a few words he'd like to share. John?
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everybody else that spoke. When Chris Ivino approached me about coming together to unite, to support everybody who has been impacted by this pandemic, I couldn't respond quickly enough. And I wanted to thank Chris and everybody from Local 2, everybody from the Rosemont Village, and everybody from the Allstate Arena who have been fabulous to help us try and get this important message out. And we couldn't do this without the support of everybody that's been a part of this, everybody from David Michaels Productions, ILC, Pixel Mosaic, who have all kindly donated millions of dollars of equipment. You know, it's at times like this, thank you. It's at times like this when I'm really, really proud. As you can probably tell, I was not born in America, but I'm proud to be an American citizen. It's at times of adversity and times of difficulty that I think the American spirit is at its most resilient. And I know we will all get through this by pulling together. But we need support from our politicians and support from our leaders to help everybody who works day in, day out. You know, there's an expression that when most of us who are here this evening are doing our jobs right, you never see us. We're the unsung heroes that support performers. We support theater. We support concerts. We support ballet. We support musical theater. We show up and sacrifice our time with our families. We show up and sacrifice our holidays, and we do it willingly to deliver amazing experiences to the audiences. We do this because we love what we do, and we're passionate about what we do. And some of us at the design end of things, we work with the artists and the promoters, but we're just the kind of lead of this. Without all of you, without all the members from organized labor, without all of the vendors, we simply can't do what we do. So let's all work together. Let's continue to get our important message out. Let's get these legislations passed, and let's please all get back to work and get back to work together. Thank you.
Well, you heard it a couple times tonight that when we're doing our jobs well, we're not seen, we're not heard. But I ask all of you to make sure that we're seen and we're heard with this message tonight. Get on that IATSE local2.com website, get the contact information, get the talking points. Let's make our voices heard. Let's make a difference. And thank you all for joining us tonight to make this happen. Thank you. Get home safely. Thank you.